Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going on a fast-paced, honestly kind of mind-blowing journey into one of the most fascinating topics in science. We're talking about the surprising biology and the incredible technology of human vision. We're going to look at exactly where our eyes came from, their bizarre biological bugs, and how we're actually upgrading them right now using cutting-edge tech. Let's get right into it.
Okay, so to truly appreciate the eye, we first have to recognize just how impossibly complex this thing is. I mean, our eyes can detect a tiny handful of photons in pitch darkness, or switch focus from a glowing phone screen to a distant mountain in a third of a second. The structures making this happen are so intricate that Charles Darwin himself made a pretty striking admission. He actually said that the idea of the eye evolving seemed, quote, absurd in the highest possible degree.
So, if it seems that absurd, how exactly did we get here? How did a random bundle of cells eventually turn into these high-resolution, adaptable, organic cameras sitting inside our skulls?
Well, the secret ingredient is time. A lot of time. Specifically, more than 500 million years. What we're using to see the world right now is literally the result of 500 million years of nonstop biological tinkering, random mutations, and intense survival pressures.
That brings us to section 1, the accidental eye. Look, this definitely didn't happen overnight. 500 million years ago, this whole story kicks off with just a very simple light spot on a tiny organism, basically just enough to tell light from dark. Then, fast forward a cool 100 million years, and the opening of that spot shrank, creating a pinhole effect. This was huge. It dramatically reduced visual distortion and gave these creatures directional sensing, which is actually something we still see in the nautilus today. Then came a massive leap. Transparent cells covered that pinhole to prevent infection, which allowed fluid to fill up the eye, and over time, crystalline proteins formed a lens right at the surface. That lens was the ultimate game changer. It allowed the eye to actually focus incoming light on a single point and instantly adapt to near and far vision.
But all that tinkering leads us to section 2, evolution's flawed masterpiece.
Here's a concept that is absolutely crucial to understand. We do not directly see reality. Sure, a physical apple exists out there in the real world, and light bounces off it and hits your retina, but what your brain actually perceives, that is entirely different. Vision is, in a way, strictly an illusion. It's a neural reconstruction. Your brain is actively building shapes, calculating depths, and assigning colors in a fraction of a second. It's constantly filling in gaps and interpreting ambiguous data. So our vision is really just a highly adaptive construct, not a perfect mirror of the universe. And because evolution is such a messy trial and error process, our eyes ended up with some major design flaws. The biggest one? Well, we can call it the blind spot bug. See, in the human eye, the retina is literally inverted. Our light detecting cells are facing away from the incoming light. And because of this backward wiring, the optic nerve has to punch a hole straight through the retina just to connect to the brain. This creates a literal physical blind spot in our field of vision, and our brain just has to constantly guess what's there and fill in the blanks for us. The crazy thing is, evolution didn't have to do it this way. Cephalopods, like the octopus, they evolved complex eyes totally independently from us. And guess what? They got the wiring right. Their eyes feature a front-facing retina. The wiring goes directly out the back, which means they have absolutely zero blind spot. It just goes to show you that biological evolution doesn't always hunt for the perfect engineering solution. It just finds one that works well enough to keep you alive and reproducing. Which makes this a great time to jump to section 3, how other animals see. You see, evolution customizes vision perfectly for a specific species' survival niche. Take human vision. We're highly evolved for daylight. We're great at processing complex colors and judging depths. But cats? They're classic nighttime hunters. Over time, they actually sacrificed some of that daylight clarity for a specialized, highly reflective layer in the back of their eyes. This acts like a mirror to maximize the tiny amounts of light available at night. It gives them incredible night vision, and yeah, it's also exactly what causes that spooky eye glow when you shine a flashlight at them in the dark. And honestly, animal adaptations get even weirder than that. For instance, frogs basically lack the visual system to perceive stationary objects. They strictly detect motion. So if a delicious bug isn't moving, the frog literally doesn't see it. Dragonflies navigate by detecting polarized light bouncing off water, so they know where to lay their eggs, but modern asphalt polarizes light so strongly that they are constantly mistaking highways for rivers. Oh, and the anolepts,
also known as the four-eyed fish, literally has its eyes divided right down the middle so it can simultaneously scan for predators above the water and below the water at the exact same time. The takeaway here, biological vision is optimized strictly for a specific ecological niche, not for absolute objective accuracy. Which brings us to the climax of today's explainer, Section 4, Technology as our next visual evolution. So, what happens when biological evolution finally hits a wall? What do we do when our flawed masterpiece of an eye just isn't good enough to see what we desperately need to see? Well, we build a software patch. Human-made technology is literally the ultimate upgrade to our biological limits. In modern medicine, we have already completely transcended the naked eye. Take microscopes in neurosurgery, right? Surgeons now use specialized blue light under the microscope to reveal the previously unseen cellular boundaries of malignant tumors, something a human eye alone could never ever detect. Or look at virtual and augmented reality. Instead of a doctor trying to mentally visualize a 2D scan, they can now project 3D modeled tumors directly onto headsets for perfectly precise surgical navigation. Even everyday software is in on this. Standard programs like Adobe Photoshop are actively used in forensic analysis to detect super subtle density changes in X-rays, or to accurately measure bruises and bite marks where the human eye just struggles to see the exact margins. But the most massive evolutionary leap happening right at this very moment? Artificial intelligence. AI is already out there diagnosing diabetic retinopathy with incredible, mind-blowing accuracy. Computer vision algorithms are classifying skin cancers at a level that is on par with, and sometimes better than, human physicians. We've got deep learning models actively outperforming human specialists when it comes to classifying breast cancer mammograms. AI can take a low-quality medical image, enhance it, and find complex patterns in the pixels that our 500-million-year-old biological eyes are simply incapable of processing. It's amazing. So think about this journey. We started with a single, tiny, light-sensitive spot floating in the ocean 500 million years ago, and we've somehow arrived at an era where algorithms and augmented reality are actually doing our seeing for us. And I think that leaves us with a really fascinating, provocative question. As our technology completely merges with our biology to bypass our physical limitations, what will it actually mean to truly see reality in the future? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it completely changed the way you look at the world around you.